It started with whispers, those subtle signs fans sometimes notice before headlines confirm what the heart already fears. Tim McGraw, country music's tireless workhorse, the lean, athletic icon whose stage presence had long defied time, began showing signs of wear. It wasn't sudden. Nothing ever is with legends like Tim. For years, he pushed through back-to-back tours, early call times, and late-night songwriting sessions. He'd sprint across stages, slide into emotional ballads, and lift his Stetson to thunderous applause. But behind the curtain, things were shifting. Fans first noticed a change in his energy during a recent performance. McGraw, known for his high-octane live shows, suddenly paused mid-set. He knelt on the edge of the stage, one hand gripping his knee. His voice cracked, not from emotion, but effort. Some thought it was theatrical, another masterful way of connecting with the crowd. But then he disappeared for a moment. Crew members huddled backstage. Lights dimmed longer than usual. He returned and finished the show with professionalism, but his face had gone pale. Eyes no longer sparkled. They strained. Soon after, McGraw canceled several dates from his ongoing tour. At first, the announcement was vague, unforeseen personal health matters. But longtime fans knew this wasn't just a cold or exhaustion. This was something deeper, something that didn't go away with rest or hydration. Then came the confirmation. Through a quiet, heartfelt video posted to social media, Tim addressed his fans. He sat beside Faith Hill, her hand interlaced with his. The two of them framed by soft lighting and silence that seemed louder than any words. Tim looked thinner than usual. Not just lean, but tired. The edges of his signature grin strained to hold their usual confidence. "I've always said I owe my fans everything," he began, his voice steady but subdued. "So, I want to be honest with you all." He spoke of chronic pain that had plagued him for the better part of 5 years. It started in his knees. Old football injuries, he explained, that had been aggravated by years of touring and performing. But more recently, the pain had spread. His spine, his hips, his neck. He'd wake up in the middle of the night unable to move. Some mornings he couldn't hold a guitar. On bad days, lifting his arm caused muscle spasms. Doctors ran tests, and while no single diagnosis emerged, the consensus was grim. If Tim didn't slow down, if he didn't rest, truly rest, he could face permanent damage. Discs in his spine were compressing nerves. One misstep, one fall on stage, and it could lead to long-term disability. "I've always believed in pushing through," he said in the video, eyes shining with emotion. But sometimes pushing through can push you over the edge. The news landed like a stone in the hearts of millions. Comments flooded the video within minutes. Messages from fans who had grown up on Tim's music, those who had danced to Live Like You Were Dying, fallen in love to It's Your Love, and found strength in Humble and Kind. No poured that love back toward him. But heartbreak was unavoidable. Tim McGraw wasn't just another performer. To many, he was a symbol of endurance, a torchbearer for country music's soul. His sudden vulnerability felt like watching a monument sway in the wind. Fans mourned not just his pain, but the idea that their hero, the man who seemed carved from grit and Tennessee spirit, was human after all. Faith Hill, ever the pillar beside him, has reportedly rearranged her own schedule to remain by Tim's side. Sources close to the couple say she's canceled upcoming solo commitments, choosing instead to stay home in Nashville. Their daughters, too, have returned from college and work obligations to support their father. The McGraw household, known for its warm Southern hospitality, has turned inward, a circle of strength wrapping around its most wounded member. Doctors have recommended an extended recovery period, physical therapy, rest, and, perhaps the most difficult prescription for McGraw, a halt to all live performances. That includes the 2025 summer tour fans have been eagerly awaiting. His label has postponed the release of his new album, originally slated for fall, citing the need for McGraw to focus solely on recovery. Behind the scenes, insiders say the decision weighed heavily on Tim. For years, he had prided himself on being a dependable force in the industry. Even through the pandemic, he had recorded from home, released singles, and stayed connected with fans. But now, he was being asked to pause, to put his health ahead of his legacy. He's never been good at sitting still, one longtime friend noted. But this time he understands it's not just about grit. It's about being around long enough to keep singing for decades to come. In the days following the announcement, tributes poured in from across the industry. Garth Brooks posted a heartfelt message, calling Tim one of the fiercest hearts country music has ever known. Carrie Underwood shared a photo from a joint performance, writing, "Tim, take all the time you need. Your music lives in all of us." Keith Urban, Darius Rucker, and even crossover stars like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift joined the chorus of support. For fans, the heartbreak is real, but so is the hope. This isn't a farewell. Not yet. McGraw has expressed his determination to heal, to come back stronger, not for the spotlight, but for the love of music and the people who've stood by him for over 3 decades. "I'm not done," he said in the final moments of the video. "I've got more stories to tell, more songs in me. But I've got to take care of the body that carries those songs." It was a powerful reminder that even legends have limits. That behind every great voice is a vulnerable body. That sometimes the most courageous thing a man can do is stop and heal. In the meantime, fans are revisiting his past works. His streaming numbers have surged. "Don't Take the Girl," "My Best Friend," and "Shotgun Rider" are climbing charts once more. Social media is flooded with fan tributes, TikTok challenges with his lyrics, and throwback clips from concerts that now feel even more precious. And while heartbreak lingers, it's laced with gratitude. Because in his pain, Tim McGraw has given something unexpected, a glimpse of raw humanity. In stepping back, he's reminded us all that even the strongest among us need time to heal, and that there's no shame in pausing, only strength. As fans wait, some lighting candles, others planning prayer circles, many simply playing his music louder, they do so not out of desperation, but devotion, because they believe what Tim believes. This is not the end of the song, just a rest. And when the chorus returns, it will be stronger than ever. Even as the days turned into weeks, the McGraw family remained largely private, giving only brief updates through Tim's team. But sources close to the family suggest that his recovery journey has already begun in earnest. Physical therapists visit the Nashville home daily, and a converted studio space has reportedly been retrofitted with therapeutic equipment, a hydrotherapy treadmill, resistance machines, and customized yoga routines tailored to ease spinal tension. Fans have also learned that Tim has been keeping a journal, a new habit, according to Faith. Writing has always helped him make sense of life, she shared in a recent interview. But this time, it's not about songs. It's about healing, mentally, spiritually, and physically. But perhaps the most heartbreaking revelation came from a close friend who noted that Tim recently gave away several of his guitars. Not permanently, but as symbolic gifts to those who supported him quietly through the years. A guitar tech who's been with him for over a decade received one. A former bandmate got another. To them, these weren't instruments. They were totems of a career built on sweat, soul, and Southern storytelling. Still, even in the stillness, Tim McGraw is not idle. Reports say he's already begun planning a new project, tentatively titled Restoration. Not an album, not a tour, but a docuseries about recovery, of the body, of the mind, of the soul. Sources say it will chronicle not just his own healing process, but stories of others who faced similar crossroads in life and chosen to fight forward. He wants to use this moment to connect, the source explained, not just as a performer, but as a human being. Because for once, the stage lights are off, and the man behind the music is ready to be seen. It's a brave step. In an industry that often demands relentless momentum, Tim is choosing silence. In a culture that prizes perfection, he's revealing vulnerability. And in a career defined by strength, he's leaning into softness. That choice, perhaps more than any award or #1 hit, may become his most enduring legacy. The heartbreak, fans say, comes not just from seeing Tim in pain, but from the sudden void his absence creates. His presence, his voice, his very spirit have become foundational to the identity of modern country music. Remove Tim McGraw, even temporarily, and a silence settles over the genre, one that can't be filled by radio edits or TikTok covers. Even Nashville feels quieter. Outside his favorite haunts, the recording studios on Music Row, the backdoor booth at the Pancake Pantry, the local gym where he trained like an athlete. The air carries a subtle stillness. Friends speak in hopeful tones, but their eyes tell a different story. They miss him, not just the performer, but the man. The laugh, the relentless optimism that seemed immune to gravity.